Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
You got that right, Joseph. And folks, we want you to be a part of it too. Please drop your comments, your questions. If you have a take, bring it. It's entertainment for everybody because we will feature them in future shows. Hit like, subscribe, and join us every week for free right here on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok, or wherever you listen. And thanks to all the new subscribers. What's up, Joseph?
Hey, yeah, Football. No, that's a big deal. The new subscribers, man, keep us on our toes. I'm enjoying the comments. I'm never going to say there's a bad comment. There isn't. No. Some of them are maybe a little harsh, but we like it. That's the way we like it. We like to, it's like we're sitting in, an establishment, different opinions. That's what makes the world go round. That's what makes sports great.
And we already know it. That's why we weren't drafted. And that's why we can't pay any of our subscribers on our unpaid research staff. So,
right.
We're just one big happy family.
No, well, yeah. And we're not experts. We know that. We prove that every show, basically.
Every time I open my mouth.
You know who else is not an expert? Apparently the Cleveland Browns front office. They're not experts either. What? Wow. What a mess, man. I can't believe it. It's all I'm reading. It's all I'm seeing. It's all I'm seeing is Deshaun Watson. What is going on in Cleveland, man?
I even saw a lot of that football game the other day and take away a couple of plays. But again, it's preseason. We know that. Take away a couple of plays. He looked like he was not all that good. But Shedeur didn't look all that much better. So it goes back to exactly what you said in the last podcast. It was perfect. They're not going to pick who's the best quarterback. They're going to pick who's not the worst. So
I mean, it is. I don't even know. There's not even a word. Okay, if you only take, this last game, okay, and it shouldn't matter on, one game shouldn't matter, but let's just take it. Sanders, 7 first downs, 82% completion. Okay, 74 yards, 1 touchdown. QB rating 87. Not great, but Watson, 4 first downs, 42% completion percentage, 36 yards, QB rating, and this is actually, I'm not even being funny right here. I think I know the max. I think it's like 153.3 or something, and if I'm wrong, the max is somewhere like that.
The suspense.
I didn't know where the bottom is because I've never seen a 0. I mean, I don't even know. I think if you take 1 snap, you're not at 0 anymore. But 14 QB rating for that performance.
Cover your eyes, children.
I mean, that's the last game, well, obviously one of the last games before you make your big decision, and that's what you deliver. I'm not even talking about the comparison as much as if you're Watson, you're feeling it. You've already heard the fans boo. They booed 4 times during this game. Your home crowd's booing you. You feel it, and then you go out there and just like lay the biggest egg you possibly could lay. What a terrible situation.
And then on top of that, Deshaun, I guess, publicly said to the Cleveland fans, that was really disrespectful.
Yeah.
Well, so is your quarterback rating.
Good point. I mean, let's face it. Everyone. I don't think there's hardly maybe Michael Jordan, maybe Tom Brady hasn't heard boos at some point for a bad play, bad decision, on the field kind of stuff. It's not disrespectful. They pay the money to be able to cheer and to boo. I will give Shedeur credit. Shedeur, even after this, situation, he came out and defended, not defended, but just said it was disrespectful that Watson doesn't deserve that kind of treatment kind of thing. I think you have every right to boo, especially if you're a Cleveland fan after what you've been through your entire life, probably for most fans. Yeah, he deserves it. Listen, let me just remind myself what Deshaun Watson cost your franchise. Okay, this was the trade to get Deshaun. They gave up 3 consecutive first-round picks. Let that sink in. Plus a 4th, 3rd, and 4th. Okay. Then, at the time, gave him an unprecedented, fully guaranteed $230 million contract. That's what Cleveland gave up for a QB rating of 14. It is disgusting. And if you're a fan, the only reason you're a fan is because it's generational. You didn't become one recently, I can tell you that. Your great-grandfather was, so you are.
Yeah, I'm going to want to plead with the Cleveland fans. Anybody that knows the Cleveland fans, tell them about our show and ask them to come on our show and tell us what life is really like being a Cleveland Browns fan. I want some comments.
And we did get a few comments, which we appreciate. And no one was arguing that it's a mess or that, this was an easy decision because Shedeur, hey, he's trying. I think he's kind of limited in NFL quarterback tools. Great college quarterback. So was Danny Wolfel, by the way. So was Ken Dorsey, by the way. But sometimes that jump is just you need other things or better things. And I don't know, man. Shedeur throwing 68% completion percentage. This is through all the preseason games, or 2 of them at least. So he really should have won this job. That would not have made me thrilled if I was a Browns fan either. But, man, the fact that they picked Watson, and then you throw in a couple of the off-the-field stuff, and then just what comes out of his mouth sometimes, which isn't making him the best leader in the world, in my opinion. You add all that up, and, wow, congratulations. It's going to be fun to watch, this season.
And I remember when there was rumors during the off season that he was going to get traded. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Now the rumors are going to start about Shedeur getting traded. I think that's what I can kind of sense that's what's going to happen is the Cleveland Browns might be getting ready to see if they can get a deal for Shedeur.
Here's another scenario, and this is just my opinion. I think this is what's going to happen. I think starting Watson is like just checking this box because we've got $230 million invested. We gave up all that collateral to get him. Let's check the box. Hey, we did everything we could to help you, Deshaun, be the starting quarterback. But after game 2, when your QB rating is, 41, you're benched. And this will be Shedeur's chance to come in. Just because you announce who the starter is game 1, that doesn't mean much after game 1 or game 2 or game 3. So I think that's what's going to happen. Now, maybe Deshaun Watson goes out there and, he's pulling an Allen Iverson. He doesn't really need this preseason crap, and he goes out there and he's got a QB rating of 128. I don't know. We'll see. But they don't. Yeah. This isn't like a permanent status. So,
yeah, we'll have to put our money where our mouth is when we make our picks next week. I wonder how the Brownies are going to do. But I just got a feeling something might be brewing as far as a trade. But you could be exactly right there, where they're going to keep him, and then Shedeur's going to be the fireman coming out of the bullpen. That could happen too. Good point. Good vision. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Other good, other things going in NFL other than, the games have been, we talked about it. The games have been pretty good. I think the biggest news probably this week will be on Sunday at 6 p.m. deadline. Rosters have to be down to 53 players. As far as, on the field related stuff, most teams right now carry 85 to 90, which is the max, 90. So, hey, listen, about 1,184 players will be released on cutdown day. So that's, it's that time of year.
It sure is. And after watching the Dolphins' woeful performance against the New York Giants in Miami on
Mm.
Saturday, which
Oof.
was weird because they had a 4 o'clock kickoff, which is like the hottest, most humid time of the afternoon in late
Yeah,
August. You've been down, yeah, growing up down there, it's like that all the time anyway.
true.
Well, anyway, they're going to be watching the waiver wire very closely. I pray that they watch the waiver wire.
Yeah.
But, we can't leave Cleveland just yet, can we?
No.
Because now there's some little hint about the waiver wire where some player was released.
Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if this fell into, are we talking about the NFL or the NCAA football situation? Because I guess this one is straddling both lines because
It is.
De'Quan Wright just happens to get the honor of being the first player ever that anyone can remember leaving the NFL to go back to college to play football. And it's not official yet, by the way, but right now looks like that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I just wanted to talk about this real quick because we were talking about the Browns. Where else but Cleveland, Joe?
Yeah, right.
That's my
They're in the
point.
news for all the wrong reasons.
Again, anybody want to comment on it? I look forward to it. It's got to be the worst thing in the world. And now the
Yeah,
Guardians aren't living up to expectations this year either. All they have is the Hall of Fame. That's all they got going for them. It's a
yeah.
sad situation, but at least they have the Hall of Fame.
Well,
Mike,
thanks to the legal system, I guess. I don't know if we're thanking that or because of it, maybe.
yeah.
Because of the latest ruling by the judge in, Louisiana.
Mhm.
Obviously, of course, if it's in Louisiana, guess where he wants to go play? Oh, LSU. Lane Kiffin always seems to be around this stuff too. You know what I mean? Skirting the rules, making up the rules, creating new rules, like coaches can't transfer during the year, which is on the desk at the Senate.
Yeah.
So he's going to play for now, LSU and Lane Kiffin, if he gets a permission to, and I'll get to that in a second. But here's his pathway to success: Virginia Tech to Ole Miss to Cleveland to LSU. Yeah, that's a first for sure. I don't know. It's just one more thing that people are just so fed up with what's going on in college sports. And I don't blame them.
And the funniest part that I saw was the interview with the Cleveland Browns head coach, Todd Monken. Here he is. It's his first year. He's trying to get things going. He was probably told by ownership what you said just a few minutes ago. Because we're paying Deshaun $230 million guaranteed, check the box, announce him as starter. It's now he's dealing with his interview. He says someone asked him about De'Quan. What it was De'Quan Wright's going to LSU, and he goes, "Yeah," it said to the reporter, "Yeah, can y'all believe this 4-letter word that he uttered starts with an S?" And they're all laughing about it, and it's just a laughing stock. I
Yeah.
can't stand
Well,
it. And then he
and
said,
there are real implications. Now, in his case, he got cut by Cleveland. Okay, not really kind of related to this. Don't forget, he was an undrafted free agent. This wasn't your third round draft pick here. He got cut, which makes it a little cleaner. Hey, I'm cut now, so I'm not like walking away from a team. I'm not, breaching a contract that I signed. He got cut. But here's my thing. Hey, where was the last school he played for? Ole Miss. Last time I checked, the transfer portal's closed. So how does a player get to leave Ole Miss, decide to come back to college? I don't care where you were after that, but you left Ole Miss. Now I want to come back, and now you're allowed to go to another team. The transfer portal's closed. So how do you do that? Well, you know how you do that? Because this stupid judge's temporary restraining order in Louisiana not only gave him the permission to go back to the NCAA, but also reopened the transfer portal only for these players covered by the court order. So just to further add stupidness to this whole thing. It's so frustrating. But there is one possible salvation. None of this erases the SEC. They have their own interconference transfer deadline. SEC players transferring from one SEC school to another have to enter during the regular January window. Okay? He did not, obviously. So maybe, I don't root for the SEC very often. Certainly they have, their own thing going on, but this might be a blessing for all of us if this just gets nixed by the SEC's own rules, which are not, now, of course, that's another lawsuit. I can see it coming. But maybe cooler heads will prevail and this will happen. But, geez, crazy.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because if he does end up playing for LSU, that means another player at LSU is going to get kicked off. So let's not forget that because you brought that up the last show. Somebody's going to get kicked off the squad.
Listen, if it's a ton of players getting cut from the NFL, there's 1,100 plus. If something happens where more than 33, let's just say all of them are allowed. I personally don't believe there's a whole big number here. We're not talking 1,000 of players that are so good they can walk back to their previous college team or another college team and just instantly start and make tons of NIL money. I think that pool's pretty closed. Most of those kind of players are in the NFL, but yeah. And there's other sports involved. We always talk about football. Well, there's basketball involved and, other sports. What about, a golfer, who was number one on the, Arizona golf team. And he decides to come back and wants to play another year. I don't know. It's a mess. The NCAA continues to shoot themselves in the foot. I know they tried to fight some of this, but they lose all the time because they don't see stuff coming. They cannot, someone quoted, the NCAA cannot see around the corner. And I like that because it's exactly what happens. They wait till something happens and they react. They need to see what's coming and institute rules that are bulletproof in court before the stuff happens. And that would save a lot of this crap from happening.
Yeah, good point. Yep. And then the last NFL thing that I wanted to add was the news that came out today about the San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York. He had a plea deal, but I guess a lot of folks have seen this, but he was arrested and charged with a disorderly conduct and possessing criminal tools. But it was part of a police prostitution sting. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, way to go. Way to go, Jed.
Listen, I've done some really stupid things in my life. Most of the time it was, I was broke, those kind of things where, who cares? I was young, single, and stupid like we all were. Okay. I wasn't the owner of an NFL football team. And I didn't do it for $140. So you answer a solicitation online for $140 and then go to reap your rewards for that, and then you're part of a bust. Wow, that's sad. Really sad. Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what's not sad. I want to end NFL talk on this. I only saw clips of it and heard some clips of it, but it was great for me personally, for a couple reasons, to see Jon Gruden return to an NFL booth and broadcast for the first time since 2018. Whatever you think about Jon Gruden, like him or not, thinks he deserved a little bit of what he got. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but it was great to see him. He said he was a nervous wreck going into the booth because he was going to have a chance to come back to the stadium as a broadcaster and then work with his Hall of Fame man, which was awesome. He got to do it because he did it with Barber, by the way, with Rondé Barber. But It was great because Chris Myers normally does those games, but Chris Myers was unavailable, so they went in. And the last thing, the reason I think this is actually kind of cool, there was no play-by-play. It was just him and Barber talking about the game, kind of like Peyton and Eli do, on ESPN on the sub broadcast. But they would, yeah. So no play-by-play. They just talked about each play and player, and I bet you I'm going to listen to the whole thing when I get a chance because I bet you it was not only entertaining but probably informative as hell because whether you like Jon Gruden or not, hard to argue he's one of the smartest football minds out there.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I think he's extremely entertaining. And that ball game featured, it was a good ball game. Reuben Bain showed some great promise. And I'm pointing at your University of Miami poster up there. He looked very good. And what did Rondé Barber and Jon Gruden witness? An NFL record.
Well, was it?
But it doesn't count.
Correct.
Yeah, I think Cam Little has the record for the Jaguars, but it's 69 yards, right?
Yes.
So he kicked a 69-yarder. Would have been tied the record, or it was good for 70?
That would have been. There has never been a 70-yard field goal.
Yeah. So it was a 70-yarder.
It was a 70-yarder. Yeah. It was actually a 70-yard plus a foot because it's got to be in order that, they don't go to the next yard line. It's got to be at or over that, and then you don't get points for decimal points. So it was over the 70-yard line. Listen.
Crazy.
This brings up a couple things very quickly that people are starting to talk about. Do you know before 1999, kickers, they had their own balls. The kicker actually had their own ball. So when they came out for a field goal, they could bring it with them. 99 to 2024, they said, no. That's we're not going to let you guys do that anymore. They created a special untouched kickball, balls marked with a K, and they would give it to the equipment person. They were only given it right before game day. Okay, so they had very little time to really work the balls. Well, that ended in 2025. Now they let teams condition their own kicking balls, similar to the quarterback balls, so they have this time to massage, soak them in water, whatever all the tricks are. I don't know if deflating helps kickers. It certainly helps a particular quarterback, apparently.
Ask Tom.
So people are getting worried. That's why field goals, now the percentages aren't much different. They're slightly higher. But the yardages, and I'm kind of reading this going, yeah, I think you're right. Now I see a 55-yarder. I'm not even that nervous about it being made. They're almost automatic from 55. That used to be hard. Now 60 is pretty, it's just crazy. And if you get the ball on the 35-yard line, think about this. If you get the ball on the 35-yard line, you only have to go about 14 yards, with Buckner on your team at least, to be in field goal range. Because if you're at the 50-yard line, think about it. That's a 60-yard field goal from that yard line. Well, 7-yard snap. You're at the 50-yard line, you're lining up for a 67-yard field goal. So if you're on a 35, you only got to go 15 yards. Shoot, you probably got to go 12 with Buckner on your team because that's a 70. People are starting to say, wait a minute. I know we want more scoring in the NFL, but geez, you're going to start getting kicks from, your own 40 if this continues.
What if the kicker and the team goes to the NFL and they ask, hey, this stadium's kind of kicker unfriendly. Are they going to include like a ball massage, a humidor, hand them a cigar while they're at it? Or they might need a TV timeout for that. Kicker needs to work on his craft.
Love the Oakland A's reference there. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch 2 episodes. But no, I did not realize. I did not realize that they literally have special balls that they can do what they want. They want to before a game. It's crazy. So we'll see what happens. But that hey, good for him. And by the way, I like him. He put up with a lot of stuff for his religious beliefs. Whether you're on whether you care or on his side or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the Kansas City Chiefs sticking up for him and really fighting through that because that could have been a tough situation.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about next, Mr. Joseph?
Well, listen, I just want to mention the Premier League really quick because first of all, by the way, let me just show you something. One of the biggest news I think I saw. You won't believe this. Let me see if my technology works here. Guess who this is?
There's been a public outcry.
Yeah. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it.
That is Erling Haaland.
Yes. So he cut his hair, obviously. And hey, look, we're reversed. Anytime I share my screen, we flip flop. Yeah, apparently he cut his hair. I guess it worked. He didn't score in his Man City first game here, but he did. They won. So I guess ultimately that's the most important thing.
It's a biblical thing. It's like Samson lost his strength.
Yeah. Well, some people say, maybe that's why he didn't score. I don't know. You'd think he would run faster, but if that's the case, well, I can run really fast then, right? But I will bring this up before we move on very quickly. There was one massive upset. Hull City, a newly promoted team, beat Man United 2-0. It was Hull's first win over Manchester United since 1974.
Wow.
But not to be outdone after spending $2 billion or whatever it was. I'm exaggerating, so I'll read that in the comments, I'm sure. But after spending a fortune, that word has been used. Brentford beats Tottenham 3-0. And I think that was quite a shocker, especially considering it was Brentford's first home league win over the Spurs in 78 years. Wow. So Premier League is off and running.
Gotta love it.
I do love it.
3-0. 2-0, both shutouts too.
Both shutouts. Hey, when you get, newly promoted teams in there, it's not like they were never in the league or something like that, but it's hey, I like. Obviously, if it's your team, you don't love upsets like that. I don't think anybody's panicking at this point. It's not like a one and done situation in the World Cup, but still, hey, it catches your attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Me too. Let's talk golf real quick. So, if you haven't been following golf or you don't follow golf, you may not know that we're in the last stage of the FedEx Cup. So the BMW Championship was this weekend. They start with 50 players, and then after the end of that, the top 30 go to East Lake, where the championship is played. There is no longer any kind of reward for where you finish in the standings as far as how you start East Lake, because in the past, number one in the standings was -10, -9, -8, -7. They went like that. Now, no longer. Everyone starts at 0, which I think is a great move. It gives number 30 the same chance as number 1. I do feel sorry for Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler entered BMW at number 30. All you have to do is stay there or improve that position before the tournament ends, but he unfortunately fell to 33rd. So Ricky will not be at East Lake, unfortunately.
And the winner of the golf tournament.
Yeah. So
the name just escaped me.
It's okay. So the FedEx Cup, this started in 2007, by the way. Tiger was the initial. Of course he was, right? First one to win the FedEx Cup. That's when they collected money throughout the year in points, kind of made it like I think NASCAR actually tag teamed or followed that. But they put together to make the year more interesting and make tournaments count towards something, not just the purse for that thing. This week's Tour Championship has a $40 million purse. The winner gets $10 million. Okay. Now, even 30th place gets $355, so just getting there is pretty rewarding. But there's a lot more to it than that. Here's the thing that's changed. It used to be a $20 million purse, so it all kind of came down to this. Not anymore. Now, that's not the entire FedEx. Now what they do, there's $100 million put away in season-long bonus money, okay? And it's locked up all year. And then at the end of yesterday's tournament, the BMW, the points leader, whoever's winning, before they go to East Lake, whoever won basically the season points, guess what? Gets $23 million. Okay, 22 in cash, 1 million deferred. So don't even have to win East Lake anymore. You can win the season-long cup and still make a ton of money. You'll probably never guess who that was, by the way.
Who?
If you said Scotty Scheffler, then you were right. So listen to this. Was this a good year or what? Scotty got the $23 million bonus that was finalized after yesterday's tournament. Okay. He also got a $10 million bonus for finishing number 1 at the end of the regular season. So are you doing the math on that? That's 33, right?
Yeah.
And of course, he's going to East Lake. And since he's number 1, he'll be going to East Lake. And of course, the winner of East Lake gets how much? 10. So Scotty Scheffler has the potential to make a $43 million year just in FedEx money, not counting the winnings for any tournament he wins. That's insane.
And he was already leading the earnings for the season anyway.
Yeah.
So wow.
I mean, yeah, it's basically like, I mean, some people want to go to live. I get it. A lot of money over there. If you're Scotty, I think it'd be a pay cut, for crying out loud.
Oh, that is crazy. I did remember it's Wyndham Clark just won the tournament this past weekend.
Wyndham Clark won it. He's had a great year too, by the way. Obviously, he's won a major. He won yesterday. Not a lot of reward for winning yesterday, other than obviously, you win a lot of money as a purse for that tournament. But he was well situated to go into East Lake as well. So East Lake's right here in Atlanta. It's a very interesting course. It's right downtown. I mean, it's literally, you would drive by it, you wouldn't know it. Kind of like Augusta. If you ever been to Augusta, you would pass it. You would never know where it was. It's just mixed into the surrounding suburbs of Atlanta. And then you walk into the gates and it's like, wow, it's an amazing course, pristine. I don't think it's going to be there for much longer. But anyways, I'll be watching that. Teddy, actually, my son's going again. He goes every year. So it's kind of an easy ticket to get. So he's looking forward to that.
That's very cool. I was just going to ask you if you're heading down there.
Yeah, not this time. Not this time. I'm gonna watch it on my 75-inch TV and save the approximately $160 in beer that I would spend if I was there.
Yeah. Oh wait, do you say beer or you mean Diet Coke?
I mean Diet Coke. Sorry, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, a lot going on. Obviously, we've got week 0 of college football starting this weekend. I, for one, am thrilled. My wife, my lovely wife, Chrissy, while she's a big sports fan herself, not so thrilled because it's basically the start of 8 months of hibernation for me. You can go online, go to TikTok, Instagram, not only watch the undrafted armchair quarterbacks, but also the thousands of memes about absentee husbands for the next 8-9 months, which I think are hilarious. So can't wait.
Yep. Me too. Yeah. Saturday, we got the Tar Heels taking on TCU Horned Frogs at noon in Dublin, Ireland. And then the other notable games, not so notable, except for the big name Southern Cal. They're going to host San Jose State on NBC at 3:00. And then New Mexico State against the Seminoles on the CW at 7 p.m. And then I noticed Hawaii at Stanford on the ACC network at 7 p.m. And then on Fox at 10 p.m., pretty interesting matchup here. In Las Vegas, the Memphis Tigers are taking on the UNLV Rebels. So those were the notable games that stood out to me. That's all I got. But we'll be doing our picks later on this week. We're going to pick out some games to do our picks.
Yeah, and does it scare me as a Miami Hurricane? Our first game is against Stanford in California, so it's a long road trip because of the geographical sense of the Atlantic Coast Conference, having Cal and Stanford in it. But is it an unfair advantage that Stanford will have a game under their belt before they play us? So that 23-point line might move or not.
You're not nervous at all.
No.
Come on.
Well, listen, I'm not far enough removed from losing to fill in the FIU. I'm not far enough removed from that to be not nervous about any game. I hope I get to the point where I'm like Ohio State. I don't know. In today's world, can you not be nervous about any game? I guess not, but I won't be very nervous for a lot of the games. But that's not the way it is right now.
Nope. That's not way it is, baby.
We will talk about those games because FSU is going to Ireland. We'll be talking about this kind of stuff, man. But for right now, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
And please don't forget, your comments are a part of the show. Please drop them below. and we'll read them and feature them in future episodes. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joseph.
All right. See you, man.
later
Take
this
care.
week.
I'll see you later, my friend.